Hello and welcome to StroongeCast episode 60.
Do you believe in smacking?
That is a question we will be answering later. But first off, how are you?
I'm really tired today.
Yeah. Plus
We're
one to
both
this.
really tired, aren't we?
There's a reason.
Well,
And
fireworks.
it's not what you think. It's fireworks.
Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning, somebody decided to let off some random fireworks.
Yep.
And I haven't told you because you're not a big fan of the cat anyway, but she kept waking me up and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with her.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out, and I didn't realise this until this morning, she didn't realise that I'd fed her last night. So she was hungry, thought I hadn't fed her, so kept coming to say to me, feed me. And I didn't realise until I got up this morning and her bowl was full. So she's an idiot
Clearly
for not
blind.
checking. Because I'm pretty sure she was in the kitchen when I filled up her bowl, so she should have known. But so yeah,
You would think
tired.
so.
Huh?
You would think so.
You would think so, but yeah. So I'm not her friend today,
No.
basically.
And I can understand that.
Yeah.
And I was awake, my watch told me, between like 4:30 and 5:30, and then my alarm goes off at 6. And so I'm feeling extremely grumpy today.
Yeah.
And sleep deprived, and it's just not good.
No.
I thought a shower would fix it, but nope. It's
Maybe the
just
tea.
the tea. Yeah,
Drink
I've
the
got
tea.
tea to my right, thankfully. Thank you, my wife. Does help. But yeah, apart from that, it's been a very quiet week. I'm trying to think if I'd done anything meaningful. No, not really. Just played music online with friends, and that's about it. Have you
I
done
went to
anything
that
much?
gig with my sister. So last Friday was Halloween,
Oh yeah.
and I went to the McFly versus Busted gig at the O2 Arena.
You had a good time, didn't you?
We had so much fun.
Excellent.
They are bands that were around when we were, well, her more of a kid, me more of a teenager, and then, going a bit later into the 20s, like stuff. But yeah, so it was lots of fun. We did lots of singing along and dancing and stuff. And
You wrecked your voice.
yeah, we both did. She already had a cold, so she was a bit under the weather anyway. And my throat is still getting over the cold I had like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, by the next day, we didn't have much of a voice left. But it was very, very worth it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So, random question. It'd be interesting to see who gets it right. There's no prize for this, but what episode will we be on before or after Christmas? Because obviously, around that
Are
time.
you trying to steal my quiz question for the week?
Am I?
No. You can if you like.
No. I just thought it might be worth someone could calculate it and let us know. It'd be interesting to see.
Or the week after Christmas? Or the first one in the new year? What do you want them to find?
Actually, yeah, let's do that. First of 2026, what episode number would it be on? Because I don't know. Do you know?
No.
Well, there you go. So speaking of quizzes, go on then.
Okay, so last week was a true or false question. A jiffy is an actual unit of time. True or false?
It's true, I think.
Yes.
Tara said so in the comments.
Yeah. Do you know how long it is?
No.
Do you want to take a guess?
No. Tell me. I'm going to get it wrong.
It's approximately 1/50th of a second.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you then can't be back in the jiffy because by the time you've said it,
You
it's
can't.
gone and done several times over.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
There you go. So this week, I have
You have.
2 questions. I'm trying to decide which one to go with. We'll go with this one. Which 2 countries have never missed the Olympics?
Ooh, I like that. And you can save the other one till next week.
Yeah.
Which is good because then you've got it all sorted. Pre-planning.
I know.
Prevents piss
Good,
poor
right?
performance. Excellent. Right. Well, go on then. Bring us in.
So we're going to talk about smacking,
Okay.
which I think is pretty self-explanatory, but we're talking about smacking children as punishment for...
As opposed to each other.
As opposed to each other. And this comes from, there was an article recently about quite a large number of celebrities and, well-known people have signed and handed in an open letter to our Prime Minister about banning smacking.
Well, he's an idiot, so he's not going to see it.
Well, I was really shocked because I actually thought that smacking had been banned many years ago. Well, a few years ago. Yeah. I didn't realise. I think it was just talked about. And actually, what I have now found out is that England is the only country in the UK that doesn't ban smacking or hasn't banned smacking.
So Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the date for Northern Ireland. I think Wales was 2020 and Scotland was 2022. I could have that the wrong way around. So I mean, we're talking like in the last sort of 5 years, but still.
So when you say banned, is it banned in school? Is it banned at home? Like, where is it banned?
It's banned everywhere. There is no smacking. So currently in England, it is allowed under reasonable circumstances.
Right.
But what do you class as a reasonable circumstance?
Well, I'm not your target audience.
No, I know. And that's the issue is everybody would, or a lot of people would have a different opinion of what is a reasonable circumstance to smack as a punishment.
Right.
So...
The thing is, you can't even police that, right? You can't ban what goes on behind closed doors. And I'm not advocating for it. I'm just stating a fact.
Mm.
So the ban is honestly meaningless, I think.
Well, I don't know, because I think when adults become aware of children being smacked...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They then have a duty of care if they believe that that is a dangerous situation to report it. Right. And it can then prevent a lot of further abuse.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
And also schools, if you've got children going in and saying my mummy or daddy or whoever smacks me every time I do this or, whatever it is, they then are able to do something about it and report
that's
it.
Fair.
So I totally know what you mean. But then that's the same with other laws, isn't it? If it's not reported, if it's not seen, how do you know it's
then
being
did it
done?
Happen? Yes, like exactly. A tree in the forest. It's a problem.
So just because we don't necessarily know that a law is being broken doesn't mean that it shouldn't be illegal.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair.
But yeah, so I just thought it would be interesting for us to talk about our views, maybe how we grew up, how we've chosen. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious from what we've said so far, but how we've chosen to parent our children with regards to punishment.
I just look.
Yeah. Well, why don't we start with how we were brought up as kids?
Oh, yeah. I was beaten occasionally, but not very often.
Did you say beaten?
Beaten. I was belted.
That's a horrible word. I don't think I knew that.
I mean, it wasn't very often. I mean, I can probably count the times. And smacked occasionally, but, like not enough to scar me for life or anything.
Mm.
Not enough for me to have it normalized and therefore turn around and do it. No.
Yeah.
It was the 80s. And I'm not making excuses, but it was a very different time.
And I also think, though, that is an issue where you have parents that say, well, it never did me any harm.
This is such a common statement.
Exactly.
And it's also very wrong.
100%. Because if you think of all of the things that we used to do that we now know through research, through learning, through a different way of life are not acceptable.
Just because you live to 101 and you smoke 10 a day doesn't mean it didn't do you harm.
Absolutely. And doesn't mean that it's not going to do someone else harm. So you can say, well, I was hit with a belt, I was smacked, but I'm okay. Like, it's not caused me. And I think that's the thing as well, is adults are always very quick to say that. They always say, oh, yeah, I was hit, but I'm okay. Like, they will always try and justify it. But you still remember that.
You do.
So, yeah, you're okay, but you've remembered that moment and it's stuck with you. and will do for the rest of your life. So it also has had an impact, and you've decided not to do that to your children, partly because of the way it would have made you feel at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So it has had an impact on you, just not necessarily a traumatic one, but that's not to say that it wouldn't on some other children.
Right. And I would say, as I said, I came away okay. It didn't mean it didn't harm me.
Yes.
The idea is harming.
Yeah.
And I don't think it should be normalized. I really don't.
No. I don't think it was a big thing in our family. I only have one memory of being smacked once. Then I was like quite a good child. Only because I was too scared to do anything bad and too worried about what my parents would say. So I never really did anything terrible. Certainly not when I was little or anything. So that wasn't really a thing with us.
So what you're saying is turn into a teenager and walk out and don't get smacked. And then do all the bad things.
Then do all the bad things. No, I wasn't terrible.
Setting a terrible example here.
No, I wasn't terrible at all. I don't know. I think like you say, it's a different generation. The 80s and 90s were before we maybe talked about different varieties of parenting.
Yeah.
And now...
Like you were the mid-80s as well. I was slightly earlier.
You had more of the 80s, I guess.
3 years does make a difference.
Yeah.
And by the time the 90s hit, say 92, I left home anyway. I mean, I didn't run away or anything. I was at boarding school.
No, that's true. So the time that you would have spent at home was much more limited.
It was.
So you were unable to maybe have, I don't know, caused...
that much trouble, hopefully.
I just can't imagine you causing trouble, honestly, like to that extent. But
no, it's not my jam.
No, but... And maybe your parents, because they didn't see you as often, felt the need to almost make up for that.
Yeah.
When they did see you, you know, they wanted it to be a nice, special time, not full of anger if you ever did misbehave.
Yeah, no,
maybe a bit more lenient.
Like that, which was nice. I mean,
yeah.
We more missed each other, so it was good.
Yeah, of course.
Boarding school was harder than smacking, I'll tell you that.
I can imagine. So what do you think, like when we first had Jake, obviously, you know, smacking a baby is
stupid,
ridiculous and horrendous in so many ways. But I kind of have vague memories of us having conversations around smacking in the early days. Do you remember any of that?
No, I don't think I do.
I kind of because I've always been 100% no, it's not happening. There is no physical punishment in terms of smacking or laying hands or anything like that to my children, and therefore our children. I'm not trying to say they're my children. I just mean like before we even had them, that was always a thought in my head that would never be a thing. But I do kind of remember us having a conversation, you being a bit less sure about that because of, like you said, I was smacked and it was fine. But I think once we had children and we got to that stage, I think then you've changed your mind.
Yeah, that could well be, because you don't know until you know.
Yeah, that's it. I think, you know, saying, well, I would smack my child if they did something really bad or, you know, needed to be taught a lesson. But then when it actually comes to it and you've got your child in front of you, would you?
Do you really?
I don't know. I mean, obviously a lot of parents do, but...
indeed.
I've never ever forgotten this. When Jake was a toddler, I used to take him to this group and there was a mum there with her, I think it was a little boy. And I think he'd gone and it hit another child or something. I mean, he would have been like 18 months to 2 years old. I mean, we're talking little. He didn't have many words at all.
Mhm.
And he'd hit another child, I think, not hard, just, in the way that they do. And she went up to him and smacked him on the hand and said, "We don't smack."
That's okay. Right.
And I
sure.
just remember being so baffled by that. How can you say to a toddler that, I mean, any child, but to a very young child who barely even understands the world yet,
Yeah.
I'm going to do something to you, but you're not allowed to do it to anybody else.
That is the epitome of do as I say, but not as I do.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't make it up.
Yeah. And I just remember thinking, well, if I wasn't sure about it before, which I was, I would 100% be now, because it just sounded so ridiculous to come out of her mouth. Smack.
We don't smack.
You don't smack. We don't smack. And that was it. It was the we don't smack. It wasn't you shouldn't smack. It was we don't smack. And I just thought, well, that's just, if that's how you're raising your child, they're going to be so confused by everything.
That's beautifully hypocritical. Well done.
Yeah.
It's brainless, some people.
Yeah, I also feel like usually in most situations where children get smacked, it's that the parents have lost control.
Mm-hmm.
You get so overwhelmed.
She could have put him in timeout instead of smacking him.
Well, he just wasn't in that particular situation. That she wasn't overwhelmed or anything. That was just how she chose. But I just mean, like,
That's
in
what I mean,
general,
though. She didn't have to do that.
No, she really didn't have to do that. But when you're at home and the kids are crazy and they're running around and there's noise and everything just completely gets on top of you, it's usually that you have lost control of the situation and your emotions, and that comes out in you smacking your child.
Yes.
And yet, usually, when children are misbehaving, particularly very young children, it's because they don't have control over their emotions. So you're effectively saying, it's okay for me to lose control of my emotions and lash out at you, but it's not okay for you to do that to me, even though
you're younger.
You're still navigating and understanding the world, and your brain is not anywhere near as formed and has the ability to make decisions, rational decisions, as I do.
No.
But I'm okay with that, level of punishment.
I think then that, as we say, it becomes normalized, and then the child will go and do that to somebody else because they've had it done to them, and it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and I think then where do you draw the line? Where do you say, well, I smacked my child because they drew on the wall, or I smacked my child because they
wet the bed?
I mean, that's horrific in itself, because that's something that most children can't control. So,
Yes, but people will still do it.
Yeah, actually, smacking a child and creating that fear is probably what leads to some children, not all, because but can lead to children wetting the bed. So
even more so.
Yeah, I just think that there is no situation where I would say smacking your child is an appropriate response. Mm-hmm. That being said, because I know a lot of people will say, well, nowadays children don't get disciplined in the same way, and look how they behave. And a lot of people will reference like gentle parenting. Right. And, say, oh, well, we don't discipline our children. We don't, we just let them get away with everything, and then they go to school and they have no respect for the teachers and all of that. But I don't see how hitting your child is going to change that.
It won't.
It's proper parenting that they need, not physical punishment.
Right, because they'll only go and do the same to other people. And like I say, it becomes a vicious cycle. Maybe that's how a lot of gangs start.
Possibly, yeah.
So all these kids being
But that's the thing as well. You can see that it doesn't work, because when you look at the background of a lot of children who are in negative situations as they become teenagers or fall into the wrong crowd, quite often they don't come from the best backgrounds. They don't necessarily have great support networks at home. You're not finding that the majority of children who have been smacked or physically punished are then perfectly beautifully behaved out in society.
Mm-hmm.
So that argument falls apart then. Really.
So how do you mitigate? Apart from banning, like how do you mitigate and how do you inform children that if this is happening, you should speak up? Because often speaking leads to more punishment.
Well, I think they already do work on some things to do with that in schools. You know, they already teach about things that are inappropriate, and if a child feels unsafe and unhappy, different adults and things that they can talk to. And I don't know about all schools, but I know a lot of schools in our area, through the council and other support networks, do talks and workshops for parents who are facing difficult situations with their children, because sometimes you don't know how to deal with it, you know, bad behavior or whatever. But otherwise, I don't know.
I don't think it's easy.
It's not easy, but smacking your child isn't the answer. I'm just always going to come back to that. It's just not the answer. We've never smacked. We never would. I mean, our children are big now. But,
Indeed.
You know,
just try it.
That's never been a thing.
We have people that listen with young kids.
Yeah.
I'd like to know their thoughts.
Knowing who we're talking about, I think they would very much agree with us.
I suspect so.
But yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to think of people that listen to us as being people who smack their children, because I really feel very strongly about it. But if you do, then I would be interested to hear your reasoning. And if you disagree with what I say, then, you know, please let us know, because maybe I haven't explained myself and my views very well.
I don't think so. I think you have quite clearly made that.
Yeah, but there'll be some people who really don't agree with what I say and, you know, believe we should be harsher on our children.
These days, being harsh is taking away the tablet.
Well, yeah. But, you know, when you've got younger children, that isn't really a thing, is it? As such.
True. I don't even know what you do then. Because if, look, a kid can be really, really bad, what are you supposed to do? I'm not saying smacking is the answer, but what are you actually supposed to do?
Well, I mean, there's so many different methods of parenting, you know, gentle parenting being one that is becoming more popular, which a lot of people believe is just letting the child rule. And it's really, really not.
Come on.
It's much more about trying to explain and understand. Also, I think it's understanding the child's development and at what point is their brain capable of the tasks that we're expecting of them. So actually, a lot of meltdowns that children are having, which comes across as bad behaviour, is usually because whatever situation they're in, they cannot cope with that. And so it's coming out in what you would class as bad behaviour, but actually it's our job as a parent to help teach them how to deal with these situations. And yeah, sometimes that's really hard and you've got to listen to screaming and shouting and potentially hitting, but it's our job to help them regulate, not for us to then allow them to see us lose control and result to violence, which is effectively what it is. If I walked up to you in an argument and slapped you, you could report me for that and vice versa.
Right.
But if you walked up and slapped your child when they've been naughty, that's okay.
Yeah, see, now, when you put it like that, it becomes even worse.
Yeah.
So an adult can report an adult-on-adult crime.
Mm-hmm.
But if an adult smacks a child, it's just parenting.
Yeah.
No, not so much.
That's it. And it's too open to interpretation. So it should just be a strict ban on violence against children, including smacking.
You know, there will be people out there that'll be like, man, these parents are so wishy-washy. They're not hard enough. And to those people, I say, well, if you grew up in the environment that you were smacked and hit and everything, then you have to really consider who you are and what you now stand for. Because not only does smacking happen at the parent level and then you grow up with that, you turn around and do that to your partner, you could end up in jail. Is that who you want to be?
Yeah.
And is that what you stand for as a person?
Also,
because I'm not going to hit you.
No. But also, I just want to add there where you say...
Wait.
Sorry.
Unless you steal any of my chicken nuggets. Not that you would.
Well,
so
I don't eat
fine.
the chicken nuggets,
Nah,
so you're safe. Alice?
I would never.
No, I know you would never. You would happily give your chicken nuggets to Alice, honestly.
Don't tell her that.
She knows. She knows. No, what I was going to say was to your point of, people thinking that we're wishy-washy parents and, we don't know anything
like that
or
comment
whatever.
the other week.
That comment the other week. We have 2 teenagers. Now, I know that we still have a long stretch of parenting left. We still have to parent 2 teenagers that arguably teenage years can be more difficult than the younger years. Like, I am not saying we are done by any stretch of the imagination. We have a whole new world coming for us with the teens. However, we have been parents for 16 years and we have never smacked either of our children. And they are not just from our point of view, but they are incredibly well behaved. They are polite. They are able to hold conversations with adults. I've been told on multiple occasions about how amazing our children are from various people, whether that's in a school situation, in a social situation. Obviously,
I can attest to this.
Everybody has that. You might have their little issues here and there because everybody does, whatever. But they are incredible people. And
it's not even just bias talking. It's a lot of people have said this.
Obviously, people are going to pick up their children. You made them; they're incredible. We know that, but
that's not
we
always
hear
the case,
it from other
honest.
People.
Yeah.
In situations where it doesn't need to be said multiple times. We know this, and if we can create these 2 people and bring them up without having to ever have laid a hand on them, then I think everybody else can do it.
There must be something in that.
Yeah. And yes, some children are more difficult. There are, other factors that fall into it. I think we are quite lucky with their personalities.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
However, children still all go through those phases of being very difficult and it being very challenging. So, it's not to say that when they were younger, it wasn't really hard work.
Oh, no.
We have these conversations sometimes, don't we, where we talk about when they were younger and some of the things, it is what it is. But that's what being a parent is about. And it's your job then as the parent to learn how to deal with and manage that behaviour. And when you can't, to seek help from whatever avenue that might be.
Yeah. Now, I know someone who listens to this podcast, who I won't name, who said that their, niece often gets smacked. And I'm like, I don't get that, but then I'm not there, right?
Yeah.
But even so, does she deserve it? I think she's only 5 or 6.
But that's the thing. How would you say that, what would she have had to have done to deserve that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing.
I think she's quite tantrum prone, this one. But even so, just doing that surely is just going to make it 10 times worse.
Well, I believe so. I don't see how a child having a tantrum that then gets a smack is going to calm and stop that situation. It's just going to fuel it.
And it will hurt, and it will just add to it.
Yeah, and I would just absolutely hate the idea that my children were looking at me as somebody who could hurt them. That is not, to me, what a parent is. You know, yes, our children know that we are strict and we are firm on situations. There are times when I only have to say to the kid, like we've had conversations with the kids and we've said, what do you think would happen if you said this to dad? Oh, I would never say that to daddy. Oh my goodness.
No,
the idea of it, never. Because they just know. And you've never done anything, you know, especially strict, or it's certainly nothing ever physical.
No.
So, you know, it's
I've
just
never needed
through
to.
the words and the way that we have brought them up to respect us as parents.
Tone can say a lot. Let's just say that. Tone
yeah,
can say
you do
a great
have the
deal.
tone. That is true.
Yep.
Yeah. That is very true.
And it's, you know, if you overuse it, then it becomes nothingness. It's a nothing burger. And very rarely do I have to. But when I do...
Well, no, not now.
It stops.
And actually, when they were younger, we kind of figured out, I think, that... Because it's very difficult when you've got two parents trying to discipline at the same time. I think that becomes really confusing. And, you know, it took us a little while, but once we figured out that actually it's easier for me in those situations to deal with, because also there is that visual side of it as well.
That's missing a lot, yeah.
Yeah, which I think that took us a while, where I would have to say to you, but you can't see, actually, he is doing this. So, you know,
Hold
if
off.
I was to say, you know, pick up your toys, and you think, well, they're not picking up your toys, so then you get angry. And I'm like, no, they are picking up their toys. It's okay.
Yeah.
So it does become that there is that learning curve of actually one parent does kind of have to take the lead a bit. And that was definitely me.
Yes.
But you were always there as the backup when I wasn't enough, I guess, in that situation.
Which was rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
But oftentimes I'd be at my desk and I just turn slowly my chair. Don't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
That's the only involvement necessary in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I didn't have to lay my hands on my children.
No.
I just faced them.
No.
The scare of dad is enough.
I think it's really difficult if you have a couple where one believes in smacking and one doesn't. I think that must be...
That's true of a lot of belief systems in situations, because belief causes untold amounts of strife.
But also, those are conversations that you wouldn't necessarily have before you get together and have children.
No.
That kind of comes later.
Yep.
You know, how do you manage that? I don't know.
Quite so.
I just know if you'd smacked our children when they were young, you and I would have had a big issue. There would have been a big argument, I think, there. Because of how strongly I feel about it.
What caused you that strong feeling?
I don't know. I just don't believe in violence against, you know, against children, but...
Someone that can't fight back.
Yeah. You know, there is... I don't want to, like, compare children to animals because that sounds really awful. And I'm not, honestly. But the two worst things that I ever could see is violence towards children and animals. That just... I can't cope with that. So I think I am a very, very maternal person, and being violent to something that I love as much as I love my children just doesn't compute to me.
Yeah. Is fair.
Yeah. Like, I very much see my entire role in life as nurturing my family. that is what I don't have a big career. I don't have ambitions as such, but nurturing and loving my family is what I do.
Yeah.
And that is just not compatible with
So if you
that
saw
kind of
somebody smack
anger.
your child, what would you do to them?
My child?
Your child?
Well, that would depend on the situation. There would be an issue. Yeah.
Well, pepper spray exists for a reason.
I think it's illegal,
Mace.
Isn't pepper spray illegal too?
Don't know.
But yeah, that wouldn't be tolerated at all from another adult. No.
Then you've heard it here first.
Yeah.
Don't smack a child.
No.
The one thing we didn't talk about, though, is culture differences. A lot of black families, this is normal. I'm not saying it, I agree with it. It's just normal.
Yeah.
In the Caribbean, definitely that happens.
Yeah.
So I think, it's very polarizing, and would be interested to hear people's thoughts on this one, because I think it depends where you come from and your background as well. I don't hear about a lot of white British couples smacking kids, but if you're from a black family, oftentimes you just did that, or you just got that. And in your parents' generation, possibly more than mine, the cane at school was common.
It was.
If you
Gosh,
read-
the idea now of a teacher using
It's a ruler or a cane.
anything physical on our child.
And you haven't talked about, for example, the beating the left-handedness out of kids in school.
Yeah.
All of that.
Oh.
I mean, if you watch any Second World War TV programs about kids in schools, or, the evacuations and stuff, you often hear about this. There's the one boy, the runt at the back, who's writing cack-handed, as they would call it, and being hit with a ruler. Write normally. How dare you? All this kind of thing. Obviously, I don't agree with that either. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, though, we do just have to go back to the fact that, that it's of a time.
Yeah.
And thankfully, there is a lot of research and, a lot of work done on how we teach and raise our children.
Yeah.
And we now know that doesn't work. It's not okay.
So corporal punishment must have been banned in schools in this country.
Yeah,
but I don't
corporal
know
punishment.
when that was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if that's the case, then you would think that maybe smacking would have been banned around the same or similar time. But clearly not. But yeah,
So actually, corporate punishment in England and Wales was banned in 86.
86. Wow, interesting.
But actually, in private schools, it wasn't until 98.
Really?
Yeah.
Again, behind closed doors.
And in Scotland, it was 2000, and Northern Ireland, 2003. So even later.
Well, I think in Northern Ireland you have a lot more sort of Catholic schools, and they were quite, what's that saying? Spare the rod? No, I forget. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I heard it on LBC yesterday, actually. They were talking about smacking for some reason.
Probably because this spare the rod, spoil the child.
That's the one. Rod, I mean, seriously, it's thin and whippy and nasty. It leaves behind scars. Why do you want to do that?
Well, quite.
Nasty business.
Yeah.
Don't do it. There you go. Smacking.
Yeah.
Are you for it or against it? Do tell us in the comments.
Yeah.
But before this episode ends, give us a story. Give us some Stroonge news, perhaps.
I will give you a strange news story. So, the headline for this article is Man Fakes Complete Blindness for Over 50 Years to Collect Disability Payments.
I'm sorry.
So
Does that deserve a smack?
So this is about a 70-year-old Italian man who pretended to be totally blind for a period of 53 years.
Wow.
Caused by an incident at a work like a work accident, and received full benefits totaling, right, 1.16 million euros
Yikes, man.
in that time, which is just like an incredible amount of money. What I don't know, and I can't find in any of the articles that I've read, is why they started to investigate him. I don't know if maybe he was, somebody wrote in and said, this man is suspicious. But basically they followed him for a period of 2 months, gathering evidence that he wasn't blind.
Wow.
During this time, he was filmed moving effortlessly through the city, doing his own shopping, visually inspecting several products, and paying with cash without any assistance. He was also seen doing garden work with some quite dangerous tools.
Right.
Which...
White stick in his back pocket, no doubt.
No, but that's what's really bizarre is I think a lot of this evidence that they got on him, he did not have his white stick. So he's claiming the benefits, but then just going about his business without actually
That
sort of
seems a
covering
bit
his
like
own back.
dare I say, oversight somewhere along the line.
Very good.
Yeah, but I actually meant it literally. Like, how can you not realize this?
I know. Because I think people just think, oh, well, it's not going to happen to me. No one's going to look at me. Why would they? But they have.
You throw something at somebody, right, that has good eyesight, you're going to flinch.
Yeah.
It's a good test. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything hard. I'm not like, advocating a snooker ball, but roll that bit of paper.
Yeah.
You're going to move. And if you did that to me, I'm not going to know it's coming. So I'm probably not going to move.
Nope.
We could do a blind test and find out.
If you like.
Yeah, sure.
I'll throw things at you.
Yeah. In lieu of smacking. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Great. So the next time you see me and I'm wounded, on my
It's
forehead,
because I've thrown something at you.
because she's throwing stuff at me.
But I haven't smacked you, so that's okay.
Right. Well, at least I know where I stand. And hopefully where you stand is on coming back here next week, because we want you to, and that would be really nice.
Yes.
And leave your comments below about smacking or otherwise. And apparently, because I always forget you can do this, you can comment on Spotify as well. I didn't know that. I don't know how I read them. Maybe it comes to my email or something. Guess we'll find out the hard way. When I don't see them, people get upset because I didn't respond. And then they come and smack me. Okay. Well, until next week.
Bye.